Welcome to the What Science Says channel. Today we're kicking off a deep dive into something most of us don't even think twice about before tossing it aside. Watermelon seeds.
That's right. For generations, they've been the little black or sometimes white bits we expertly spit out while enjoying a slice of summer. But are they really just waste?
That's the big question, isn't it? Based on the available sources, we're going to, peel back the layers, or maybe the rind, and figure out if these tiny seeds are safe to eat, surprisingly nutritious, and maybe even something you should be adding to your diet.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to unpack what the science actually says about watermelon seeds, separate the juicy facts from the pulp of fiction, and discover if there's some serious nutritional power hiding inside.
It's funny, the common perception is that they're indigestible, maybe even harmful.
Oh, yeah.
You still hear that old playground myth about swallowing one and poof, a watermelon sprouts in your stomach.
Which, thankfully, we can confidently debunk. But the science, it reveals a truth that might surprise quite a few people. Watermelon seeds are absolutely edible.
And not just edible, but genuinely nutritious. And that goes for both kinds, the hard black seeds and those softer white ones you sometimes find closer to the rind.
In fact, when you look at their nutritional makeup, some sources, they don't hesitate to call them a superfood.
Right, think about it. A tiny package packing a serious punch.
And when you prepare them properly, they apparently have a satisfying crunch and a kind of mild, almost nutty flavor.
Exactly. And that nutritional density is really the core insight here. We're not just talking about something that passes through you harmlessly. These seeds are little powerhouses.
Okay, so what exactly are we talking about when we say nutritional powerhouse? Let's get into what's actually inside.
Well, first off, they're a source of protein, which is probably not the first thing people think of.
Definitely not.
And when you look at the amount relative to their size, it's pretty significant. Some comparisons even show them, stacking up quite favorably against staples like white or brown rice.
Protein in watermelon seeds. That's probably the last place most people would look.
Yeah.
And, thinking about other seeds people eat, like hemp seeds, or even wild rice, which is technically a grain, but often gets grouped there. The idea of getting essential amino acids from seeds is something science is definitely looking at. These little watermelon guys seem to fit right into that conversation.
They certainly seem to. And beyond protein, you're also getting healthy fats. Importantly, that includes essential fatty acids.
The ones your body needs but can't make itself.
Precisely. Crucial for everything from, brain health to hormone production.
So good fats, protein. And I'd guess they have fiber too. Most seeds do.
Absolutely. They're a good source of fiber, which is, always a win for digestive health and keeping things moving smoothly.
Protein, healthy fats, fiber. Okay, definitely more than just something to spit out now.
Yeah.
What about the micro stuff? Vitamins, minerals?
Yeah, the list is quite impressive for something so small. We're talking about key minerals like zinc, magnesium, iron, potassium,
Wow.
manganese, and phosphorus, too.
Zinc and magnesium alone are two minerals people spend, a lot of money on in supplement form.
Right.
Finding them packed into a seed we normally discard is pretty eye-opening.
And it doesn't stop there. They also contain a range of B vitamins, folate, and while vitamins C and A are most concentrated in the juicy flesh of the watermelon, the seeds sort of benefit from being part of that whole fruit's nutritional ecosystem.
So they're little nuggets just crammed with vitamins and minerals essential for our bodies.
Yeah.
But how do we actually access all that goodness? Is just, swallowing them whole enough?
Well, research suggests that simply swallowing a few seeds now and then is generally safe. They'll likely just pass through your digestive system, much like crane kernels sometimes do, right?
Okay, but if we want to get the most nutritional value out of them, just swallowing isn't the best approach, is it?
Correct. Yeah, to really unlock those nutrients, you usually need to break down that tough outer shell. The recommended way, and probably the easiest, is roasting them.
Like you would pumpkin seeds. Makes sense.
Exactly. One source mentions roasting them for just about 10 to 15 minutes. Easy enough.
Any other ways?
Another preparation method mentioned is sprouting them, which can sometimes increase nutrient availability, although that takes a bit more effort.
Okay. And once they're prepared, say roasted, they become incredibly versatile in the kitchen, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think of them like pepitas or sunflower seeds. You can sprinkle them on top of your smoothie bowls, cereal, yogurt, or salads for that added texture and nutrients.
Or, bake them into things. Muffins, breads, maybe even cakes.
Definitely. Or go savory, they can add a nice crunch and nutty flavor to stews, soups, or other main dishes. You can even grind them into a powder to add to things, or, like people do with other seeds, use them to make a plant-based milk.
That really opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
It's a simple way to integrate a serious nutrient boost into foods you're already eating, potentially.
Just gotta remember, moderation is key. While they're nutritious, eating a very large quantity isn't recommended.
Right.
Like with many high fiber or high fat foods, it could lead to some digestive discomfort if you overdo it.
Makes sense. Too much of a good thing isn't always better. But consumed in reasonable amounts, what are some of the potential health benefits that science is exploring linked to all these nutrients we just listed?
Right, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's maybe start with cardiovascular health, heart health.
Okay, yeah, I saw that pop up in the material quite a bit.
Research suggests these seeds may play a role in reducing the risk of heart disease and stroke. Those compounds we talked about, the magnesium, the healthy unsaturated fats, protein, fiber, they seem to contribute to properties that can help relax and widen your blood vessels.
So that vasodilatory effect, helping blood flow more easily.
Precisely. Which in turn can help manage blood pressure. Studies also indicate they might help improve cholesterol levels, potentially lowering that, less desirable LDL cholesterol while giving the good HDL a little boost.
Plus, the fact that they have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, that generally supports a healthier heart environment overall.
Exactly. Moving on, there's a connection in the research to blood sugar management, too. The seeds could potentially help lower blood sugar levels and might even be a useful addition for those managing diabetes, possibly thanks to that magnesium content, which is really crucial for insulin function.
So not just the heart, but potentially metabolism too. What other systems could benefit?
Well, your immune system gets a potential boost. They're rich in zinc, iron, and other minerals that are known players in strengthening your body's defenses.
And what about benefits you might actually see? Like for your skin and hair, is there anything there?
Yeah, absolutely. Those essential fatty acids come into play here, alongside minerals like zinc, magnesium, and manganese. Zinc can be helpful in managing certain skin conditions like acne.
Interesting.
Magnesium is thought to play a role in slowing cellular aging, partly because it's vital for DNA repair and synthesis. And manganese is linked to preventing hair fall and damage.
And the protein, of course.
And the protein, fundamental for strong skin, hair, and nails.
It really is surprising how many different body functions these little seeds seem to touch on.
They do. Bone health is another area. Minerals like manganese and phosphorus are known contributors to bone growth and maintaining strength over time.
And energy. Do they give you a boost, or is that stretching it?
Well, the combination of macronutrients and those micronutrients we listed is noted to provide sustained energy. The B vitamins in particular are highlighted for their role in keeping your brain and nervous system functioning optimally.
Right, the B vitamins are key for energy metabolism. Okay, we mentioned fiber for digestion earlier, but is there more to say about gut health specifically?
Yes. Beyond just aiding regularity, which is important, the fiber acts as a prebiotic.
Food for the good guys.
Exactly. Feeding beneficial gut bacteria, which is crucial for a healthy microbiome and, impacts overall well-being in so many ways.
Is there anything specific noted for men's health in the research?
Zinc is specifically called out. It's highlighted as being essential for supporting the male reproductive system.
Got it. And those important antioxidants. We
Yeah.
mentioned them briefly for heart health.
Right, they're present and they combat oxidative stress. That's essentially cellular damage caused by unstable molecules called free radicals.
Which we hear a lot about.
Yeah, and by neutralizing these, antioxidants help protect your body's cells and may lower the risk of various chronic diseases. While lycopene is famously the antioxidant in the red watermelon flesh, the seeds contain other compounds that contribute to this protective effect.
Wow. Okay, so from potentially helping your heart and managing blood sugar to boosting immunity, supporting skin and hair, strengthening bones, giving you energy, aiding digestion, maybe even specific benefits for male reproductive health, and offering antioxidant protection, that's a pretty compelling list of potential benefits from something so small.
It really makes you question why we've been so quick to just toss them, doesn't it?
It really does.
But just as important as understanding the benefits is addressing those stubborn myths and any actual potential downsides or risks.
Yeah.
We have to be balanced.
Absolutely. All right, let's tackle the biggest one first. Swallowing a seed will make a watermelon grow inside you.
Okay, yeah, let's squash that myth right now, based on the science. Your stomach is an incredibly harsh environment. It's highly acidic. We're talking a pH between 1 and 3.
Like battery acid almost.
Pretty much. That acidity is designed to break down food and kill pathogens. Seeds need very specific conditions to germinate: soil, water, light, a certain temperature range.
None of which are found in your stomach.
Exactly. Even if a seed somehow magically made it through the acid bath intact, which is highly unlikely, it simply wouldn't stay in your digestive system long enough for germination to even begin.
Right.
Your body is designed to process and eliminate waste efficiently. That seed coat is built tough to protect it until it hits fertile soil, not your gut lining.
Okay, so definitely no internal watermelon patch forming.
Yeah.
Phew. How about the other common fear that swallowing seeds can cause appendicitis?
Research is pretty clear here, too. Your digestive system is perfectly capable of handling small seeds. They generally just pass through, like most other indigestible plant matter.
So the idea they'd get stuck is unlikely.
Very unlikely. The idea that they'd somehow lodge themselves in the appendix and cause inflammation. It's just not supported by solid evidence. It seems to be another unfounded fear.
Okay, myths busted. Good. But are there any actual downsides or risks we should be aware of based on the scientific literature?
Well, the primary practical downside we touched on earlier is that potential for digestive discomfort if you eat a very large quantity, especially unprepared.
All right, the moderation thing.
Yeah, your body might struggle with processing an excessive amount of fiber and fat all at once, leading maybe to bloating or gas. But this is generally about quantity, not inherent danger in small, reasonable amounts.
Okay. Is there any other kind of research, maybe more serious, that points to potential risks?
There is an animal study mentioned that's worth discussing, but with some big caveats. It looked at feeding rats diets supplemented with a, well, pretty significant amount of watermelon seeds.
Okay, let's talk about that, but really emphasize, like you said, the caveats: animal study, high dose.
Absolutely critical context. This study involved feeding rats diets where watermelon seeds made up a relatively high percentage, like 2.5% to 5% of their total daily food intake for 21 days.
That sounds like a lot of seeds.
It is. It's a far cry from, eating a handful of roasted seeds or sprinkling some on your salad.
Okay, and what did that study suggest, even with those caveats?
The study indicated potential negative effects on the rat's kidneys. It showed signs of stress, like elevated levels of certain waste products, urea and creatinine in their blood. They also observed impacts on the reproductive organs, things like increased weight and some sperm abnormalities in male rats and changes in the weight of ovaries in female rats. There were also some trends towards lower liver and brain weights in these high-dose groups.
So consuming a very, very high amount showed some concerning effects in rats.
Correct. And it's crucial, absolutely crucial, to understand that results from animal studies don't automatically apply to humans. Our physiology is different. Our diets are different.
Right.
This study really acts more as a cautionary signal about the potential effects of extremely high sustained consumption, not the typical amount a person would encounter or choose to eat. It just reinforces that idea of moderation.
That's a really important distinction to make. Okay,
Yeah.
What about the concerns some people raise about cyanide in fruit seeds? Does that apply here?
Yes, the cyanide confusion. That concern primarily applies to the pits or seeds of other fruits. Think apples, cherries, plums, peaches, pears, apricots.
Right, the stone fruits mostly.
Exactly. Those seeds contain a compound called amygdalin, which can be converted into cyanide when it's crushed or chewed, potentially releasing toxic amounts if consumed in large quantities.
And watermelon seeds. Are they in that category?
No, watermelon seeds are generally listed as safe in this regard. They do not contain significant levels of amygdalin.
Okay.
While there's a sort of general warning in one source about chewing seeds potentially being toxic, it seemed to be in a completely different context related to debunking false cancer cures.
Right.
The primary specific toxicity research mentioned in the sources we looked at relates back to that high-dose animal study and its findings on specific organs rather than a general cyanide issue from typical consumption.
Okay, so the cyanide risk linked to other fruit pits doesn't really seem to apply here. Good to clarify. And speaking of misinformation, we really need to address the claims floating around about watermelon seeds curing cancer.
Yes, this is critically important to address directly. The sources are very firm on this. There is absolutely no scientific evidence to support claims that eating or chewing watermelon seeds for any specific duration, like, say, 12 weeks, can cure cancer.
It sounds like one of those too good to be true miracle cures, but it's actually, well, potentially very dangerous misinformation.
It absolutely is. While, yes, some very early lab studies, we're talking petri dishes, and preliminary animal research have explored the potential effects of extracts or isolated compounds from watermelon seeds on cancer cells or tumor growth in a controlled setting, like that Turkish study mentioned.
Right.
That is a giant, giant leap from proving that eating the whole seeds cures cancer in humans. These are just the very first steps in basic research, miles away from proof of a cure.
And cancer itself is just incredibly complex. It's not one single thing.
Precisely. It's not one disease, but many different types, each requiring specific evidence-based treatments developed through rigorous scientific trials over many years. Relying on unproven claims like, just chew these seeds, as a substitute for conventional medical treatment is incredibly risky.
It could delay effective care.
Exactly. And that delay can have devastating consequences.
So just to be absolutely clear for anyone listening, while there's interesting early research exploring potential compounds in the seeds, eating or chewing watermelon seeds is not a cancer cure and must never replace medical treatment recommended by qualified healthcare professionals.
Absolutely. Stuck to evidence-based medicine. That is the only safe and effective way to approach cancer treatment.
Okay, phew. So bringing it all back home to you, the listener, next time you're slicing into a big, juicy watermelon, you now have the science at your fingertips to make an informed decision about those seeds.
You know that spitting them out isn't actually necessary, that they're safe in typical amounts, that they definitely won't sprout inside you,
Definitely not.
and they won't cause appendicitis.
And perhaps most importantly, you know that those little bits you've likely been discarding are actually edible and potentially packed with a surprising amount of protein, healthy fats, fiber, vitamins, and minerals.
It's an opportunity, really, to add genuine nutritional value to your diet using something you might otherwise just see as, well, waste, a little bonus nutrient boost.
Understanding the science behind it empowers you to make better choices about your food, potentially boost your nutrient intake pretty easily, and crucially, helps you recognize and avoid those common myths, or worse, the dangerous misinformation that's out there.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it, about how much hidden potential might be lurking in the everyday foods we interact with.
It truly does. It raises a fascinating question, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What other common food waste products, stems, peels, seeds, might be hiding significant nutritional value that we just haven't fully explored yet?
Or just how much more is there for us to learn about the full potential of the simple foods and their components that are right in front of us every single day?
Yeah. There's always more to discover, it seems, even in something as familiar as a slice of watermelon.
Indeed.
Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the What Science Says channel and give us energy with your likes and comments. Share your thoughts with us and send this video to your loved ones so others can benefit from it too.